10 signs of a fake person. It's nice to think that the people we're dealing with all have good intentions, but the sad reality is that this is not always the case. Sometimes people just pretend to be nice to us, and it's important to recognize the signs of this behavior. In the course of our lives, all of us have happened to meet someone apparently kind and friendly, maybe somebody who complimented us, just to find out later that they were simply acting fake. In this video, we'll see 10 typical signs of fake people. Number 1. False modesty. The false modest pretend to downplay their accomplishments, while at the same time subtly bragging about other more important things. An example could be a guy saying, "How annoying! In this club, all the girls won't stop looking at me and I can't relax." Studies have found that it's actually better if you go ahead and fully brag in these situations. People would rather take genuine bragging way more than humble bragging. Number 2. Passive-aggressive behavior. You'd be surprised at how easy it is for some people to be extremely aggressive while maintaining a positive and pleasant behavior. This is known as passive-aggressive behavior and is one of the signs that distinguish a fake person. This behavior is particularly common among people who have repressed their anger and want to maintain civility and sophistication. The result is that when they let their anger out, they can only do it in a passive-aggressive way. An example would be someone paying you a compliment, but in a rather sarcastic way. Number 3. Ghosting. Another big sign of fake people is ghosting. This behavior is frequent in romantic relationships, and it's when the people with whom you believe you had a good relationship up to that moment disappear suddenly, refusing to answer your calls or messages. This behavior generally occurs when a relationship seems to be going well enough. The other person might even seem nice and polite, but then suddenly he or she completely cuts you out of their life without a logical explanation. At this point, it becomes obvious that their nice behavior was not genuine. Probably this person has problems with insecurity and has simply used you out of a personal vanity, or they love to feel in control and is using you to satisfy their narcissistic tendencies. In any case, these types of people generally have serious problems of insecurity and would probably not bring anything good into your life. So you're better off without them. Number 4. Crocodile tears. The term crocodile tears is used to describe people who fake their emotions, usually showing sadness or remorse. This is a common behavior among politicians, criminals, and famous public figures, to name a few. How can you identify crocodile tears? Generally, people who simulate emotions such as remorse and sadness tend to exaggerate and don't seem natural. Furthermore, often within a conversation, they also show a wide range of different and conflicting emotions that don't always make sense. For example, they may suddenly go from being sad to being cheerful without any apparently valid reason. Number 5. Fake smile. Fake people are obviously very likely to give you a fake smile. But how can we distinguish a fake smile from a genuine one? According to psychologists, a sincere smile almost always uses more facial muscles. In particular, you should look for wrinkles around the eyes. Obviously, if a 15-year-old smiles, you'll probably have a hard time finding wrinkles around the eyes. But you know what I mean. Take a good look at their eyes and how they react. By contrast, a fake smile will often be done only by moving the muscles of the mouth. So pay attention to how the person you have in front of you smiles at you. Number 6. Inability to listen. Truly sincere people are always ready to pay attention, and if a topic is superficial to them and they really have no interest, they'll tell you clearly. But if the topic is serious, regardless of what you're going through, sincere people who really care about you will listen to what you have to say. Fake people, on the other hand, may have a hard time doing this, as they're usually very self-centered. To put it simply, if you don't talk about them, they have no interest in talking to you. Fake people are good at playing the part, but they'll do their best to influence and divert the conversation to matters that concern themselves. For example, you may be talking to them about the difficulties you have at school or at work, and instead of listening to you, they'd interrupt you and start sharing a long story about their personal experiences in this regard. Number 7. They always seem to have an ulterior motive. There's usually a reason why many fake people behave kind and caring. In most cases, it's because they want something from you. This may not be immediately obvious, but eventually, they'll slowly begin to lead the conversation towards their needs and desires with the aim of getting something out of you. So pay close attention if anyone engages in this behavior with you. Number 8. They're only kind to people who have power. Okay, this is an important point, so pay attention. A big sign of fake people is that they often only act positively toward those in power. A well-known saying goes, "If you want to know what a man is like, take a look at how he treats his inferiors, not his equals." It's always good to judge people based on how they treat people less fortunate or less powerful than themselves. If their nice and friendly behavior seems directed exclusively to those in power, then that behavior is probably not authentic and is simply an act with ulterior motives. These are behaviors that are particularly evident in public places such as restaurants, supermarkets, public offices, or interactions with any customer service. If you see a person who's generally kind to you behaving arrogantly in these situations, you're probably dealing with a fake person. Obviously, there may be rare exceptions in which genuinely kind people who are taken to exasperation by a certain situation may lose their cool. But if this happens frequently, then be careful of the person you're dealing with. Number 9. They're gossipers. It's always easy to laugh at other people's expenses, but if someone is putting other people down in an attempt to get closer to you, then you know that deep down, this is not a person that you want to establish a close relationship with. It's one thing to joke around from time to time, but it's another thing to put others down regularly in order to look cool in the eyes of someone else. This is bullying, and bullying is for losers. A winner does not need to ridicule others to value himself. As I explained in previous videos, there are 2 ways to be successful. One is to build the tallest building in town. The other is to tear down all the other buildings until only ours is the one left. You can easily guess which of the 2 is the more ethical approach. Fake people love gossip and may gossip in a way that sounds nice, perhaps acting with a false sense of concern for others' bad luck. Sometimes it's difficult to identify this behavior, but pay attention and try to understand who you're dealing with. Because the same person who today is gossiping with you about someone else behind his back, rest assured that if given the opportunity, they'll gossip about you behind your back. Number 10. There aren't that many. The last point is not a sign of a fake person, but a way to reassure you. These people are less frequent than you think. Unfortunately enough, very few know how to identify this type of fake person, and this is the reason why many of them often come to power, skillfully manipulating the most gullible, often convincing them with false promises and then backstabbing them once they have achieved their aim. So tell us, have you had experiences with people who seemed sincere but turned out to be false? How did you deal with them? If you like, let us know by leaving a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to push the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Also, don't forget to activate the notification bell. This way you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded on the channel. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.